Hello everyone. Today I wanted to go over some of the basic information and setup you'll need to begin oil painting. I know that for me, I was really intimidated by oil painting when I first started out because it seemed like it was something that was only reserved for really professional fine art people, and you had to have all this special stuff to be able to paint with it. But when I finally tried oil painting, I discovered that it's actually one of the easiest mediums to paint with. However, there are a few key things to know. First, I want to talk about the paints themselves. You'll find a lot of different brands out there for a lot of different prices. Some of the cheapest oil paint that you'll be able to find is student grade, and you may be able to get a whole set for a couple of bucks. As you venture into the artist grade stuff, the price is going to rise dramatically. But is the fancier stuff really worth the price? It depends. Paints are generally made up of two components, the pigment and the binder. The pigment is the actual color, while the binder is the stuff that holds or binds it together. The more expensive paints have more pigment in them, meaning that your paint is going to have a richer, more vibrant color that doesn't lose its vibrancy or color when it dries. Cheaper paint has a lot more binder, so the colors can be really dull and it can be frustrating to work with. If you're only mildly curious about oil painting, the cheaper options might be good, just so you can test it out without spending a huge amount of money. But if you are serious about pursuing oil painting, the higher quality stuff, in my opinion, is well worth the price. And as a quick side note, I know that most craft stores will have fairly regular sales, so if you want to buy a lot of oil paints, waiting for sale can help save a ton of money. So that's the paint. Next we have the brushes. Oil painting brushes have to go through quite a bit. They're subjected to the coarseness of canvas and to harsh chemicals. They're going to get a bit beat up, so you probably want to buy brushes specifically for oil painting. I don't let my watercolor brushes get anywhere near my oils. Oil painting brushes typically have longer handles, like these, and usually come in two varieties, bristle or sable brushes. The bristle brushes are like these ones, stiffer and rougher, while the sable brushes are softer. I think this is probably the only long-handled sable brush I have. The other ones have gotten a little destroyed, so I typically buy just acrylic brushes that are super, super cheap when I want something that has the softer bristles. You can get expensive brushes that will last forever if you take really good care of them, but I know that for myself, I just get the cheap synthetic ones because I'm absolutely awful at taking care of brushes, and the cheap ones just work a little bit better for me personally. You can also paint with palette knives like these. They come in a variety of different shapes, and they're really fun to experiment with. Next, you'll need something to clean your brushes. There are a few options out there, but I like to use Gamsol odorless mineral spirits. The smell definitely isn't odorless, but it is a lot less intense than some other options. With oil paints, since they are made with oil, you can't use water to wash them out. When you buy mineral spirits, it'll usually come in a tall plastic bottle, so I like to put that in a glass container before using. You can use any glass container that seals well, but I bought this one that's specifically for cleaning brushes. It just has a coil inside that you can wash the bristles against to clean your brushes a little better. It's best to fill it high enough that the coils are covered in mineral spirits, but I haven't filled mine in a while, so it's gotten a little low. Another thing you can use in oil painting that can help, but isn't required, is liquid. It's a painting medium that you can put on your palette along with your paints and mix in with your paint as you work. It thins out your paint a little bit, so it's easier to apply and helps it dry faster. If you want to work with really thick layers of paint, this won't be as helpful, but I find that I use it most times I paint. Then lastly, there is the actual surface that you paint on. Most art stores will carry stretched canvas like this one that are already gessoed and ready to paint. And most art stores will also carry canvas boards like this one that are also gessoed and ready to paint, and a lot of times these are a little cheaper. You can also prepare your own painting surface if you want. Some people don't really like the canvas texture in their painting, so they'll use different things that don't have that same texture. When preparing your own surfaces, the important thing you'll need is gesso. Gesso is essentially just a white acrylic paint. Before painting on any surface, you'll want to apply a layer or two of gesso so that the paint doesn't seep into whatever it is that you're painting on. I personally like to work on wood or masonite boards, and I like to apply really thick layers of gesso. I absolutely love the textures that you can get when applying your own gesso, and I think it's a lot of fun. Again, when buying stretched canvas or canvas boards from an art store, they are usually already primed, meaning they already have a layer of gesso. You can see on this one that the front is white and kind of plasticky, while the back is just the plain canvas material. Of course, if you want to play with textures, you're welcome to add another layer of gesso to a pre-primed canvas if you like. So that's it for the video today. I know that getting started in oil painting can feel really overwhelming because there are so many different options, but once you figure out what you enjoy, it becomes much simpler. To begin oil painting, all you really need are some paints, some brushes, mineral spirits, and something to paint on. Then you're good to go. Thank you so much for watching.